Hey guys, what is up? Joshua here from Edit Video Faster. In this video, I'm going to talk about the how and when you can expect to be paid as a freelance video editor. I recently, very recently, about a month ago, went back to full-time freelance work. For the past 13 years, I've done freelance work at least part-time, and did full-time for maybe 4 or so years, and now back to uh, full-time freelance. So going to talk about the different methods of how you can get paid, and when you can expect to get paid. Um, and this is my experience. I live in Virginia, outside of Washington D.C., so I'm not, in L.A. or New York, Chicago, or these big, media hub cities. And I do corporate video work, corporate, educational, web marketing. I'm not doing, the next, Marvel movie or Netflix show. So. The how you can get paid. So pretty simple. From what I've seen, you have direct deposit, a good old fashioned check, and then like a service like PayPal or Venmo. Direct deposit, that's when they literally have your bank account information and they just deposit money into your account. It's pretty sweet. My largest client right now, that's what I do with them. And I don't even have to worry about it. It just shows up into my account. I wouldn't recommend doing that if, you're working for, some random person you just met, giving out your bank account information, kind of a little shady. But, if, this is an established company and, you're going to be doing a lot of work for them, etc. Yeah. Direct deposit, that is the way to go. The second method that I mentioned is a check. So just good old fashioned check, that paper thing that you take a, picture of from your banking app to deposit. That is another way that is still done. I still have a client who will mail me a check when I'm done with work for them. So, um, you know, um, you may need to wait a little bit of time for that check to get cut. And I'm going to talk about the when you should expect to get paid in a moment. But yeah, no real harm in having a check, except for just the whole inconvenience of it not, being right into your bank account right away. And so that last method that I mentioned a moment ago is PayPal or Venmo or another one of these services. So those are great because they're so convenient. I think everybody uses, PayPal or Venmo or both. And but not your Fortune 500 companies. They're not going to be paying you by PayPal. But your mom and pop shop, your small businesses, you know um other self-employed people, YouTubers, etc., they're probably going to want to pay you via PayPal or Venmo, which is fine. But just for your awareness, when you get paid, not as like a friend, in PayPal or Venmo, there is a fee with this. I think it's like 2 or 3%, and also like a 35-cent transaction fee. So if you have like a $2,000 bill, that you're sending somebody, a $2,000 invoice, it's going to take like $60 out of it. And that can really add up, if you have a lot of work. So it is nice. And I do use PayPal a lot to get paid, my coaching services through Edit Video Faster. I, offer, PayPal and Venmo to be paid through that. And yeah, they take a chunk, out of my profit. So just be aware of that when you are freelancing, that using one of these services, yeah, just because that invoice says $2,000, you're not gonna necessarily get $2,000 at the end of the day. So part two of this is when you can expect to get paid. And there's a couple different flavors here. There's the traditional, you finish a project and they cut you a check, or, immediately deposit money into your bank account, or, immediately, pull out their phone and PayPal you. That's, the normal way to do things for a lot of businesses. And most businesses that I work with, it is like that, which is cool. Okay. The other way, or another way to do that, is a partial payment along the way. So let's say a third of the payment up front, a third after you deliver, the first rough cut, and then a third upon delivery of the final file. That is a pretty common thing as well. Or you can break that up other ways, but I do know, breaking up that way, that's pretty normal from what I understand. That is really, really good working with a new client. If you can get a third up front, a third upon first draft, and a third upon delivery, just to make sure, they're not going to leave you high and dry in the wind without paying you. So yeah, with a new client, I've discussed this before, I think in my hourly versus project rate video. I'll try to link that in the corner and down below if I remember. Where was I going? That yeah, with a new client, if you can get a third up front or something like that, try to do that. And a big reason is, you just kind of get some of that stuff out of the way. The stuff by how are they going to pay you? Sometimes, these things take a little bit of time to get set up with a new company's accounting. They need an invoice a specific way, yada, yada, yada. So, doing this early on in a project will get you paid faster in the end. And the last kind of payment duration you can expect a lot of is net 30, net 60, and net 90. And actually, my current largest client, we're on a net 30 basis. So what that means is after you deliver your invoice for net 30, you'll be paid 30 days later. For net 60, 60 days later. For net 90, 90 days later. And a lot of larger organizations work this way. I think once you start getting bigger and bigger and bigger up there, companies with thousands of employees, a lot of them work net 60 from what I've seen. The one I'm working with is net 30. So, if I did a project and I worked on it from January through, March 30th, so all that work for that 3 months, I'm not getting paid. If I invoice on April 1st, I'm not getting paid until like April 30th or May 1st area. So when you're freelancing, when you're just starting out, it's really important to, have some savings built up because, it can take some time to get paid. And I know this is, just another hurdle, when you're jumping into being a video editor, and especially being a freelance video editor. So it can take, quite a bit of time to, 1, find a job, 2, do the work, and then 3, ultimately get paid. But once you really get established and, you have, a lot of different projects coming in, your income, it's never really going to be consistent. You're not going to expect, a $2,000 paycheck in your account, every 2 weeks. It doesn't really work that way when, you have, 8 different clients that you're working for, 1 hour a week, 12 hours this week, 20 hours, the next week. It's never really going to be consistent like that. So just, having a good grasp of what you can spend without, breaking your bank while you wait for all your unpaid invoices to be paid. That is a skill that a new freelance editor is going to have to learn. I hope you found this video helpful. If you are new to freelance video editing, or, if you are an experienced freelance editor and you have, more to add to this conversation, please leave that down below. Again, I only have my limited experience here that I'm just passing along to you. And like you, always learning, always trying to get better, always trying to learn new things. So that is it. Go drink some water. I'm about to, as you can tell from my voice, and I'll see you guys around in the next video.